Oh, see, y'all stop that. See, you about to make me leave and go home and try to get my wife. Ooh, for in here. I do not, because I'm tethering off of my phone. Yeah, that's what I'm. That's what I'm. I just don't understand why the guests and not back in the day was. My grandmother was from my body. From my body, so you. So it's fast. So he brings years down by. There's places that I would want to visit with friends, but right. I think as a family, I didn't want to no, I have been here. I was talking to my yesterday because I know when I was personally, I was kind of pregnant here this time. And I just right. And so my friend was like, and I'm like, okay. And I think that's right. So, um, Persistent, you good?
So what's your plan for the chartering ceremony this evening?
I'm waiting on her to send me a link.
I hadn't seen that. Right.
Yeah, I was just gonna go to the alumni. Will you still be here?
I said be here, yeah.
Okay, well, we can do it all at the alumni. Oh, I need to see if the AKAs.
I said, are they gonna still be there? Are they done? Yeah. What time are they supposed to be?
I think they done.
Okay, okay.
And if not, we'll just find us a corner.
Okay, all right.
You know, here or wherever.
Okay, then. Yeah, I'll double check, make sure I haven't gotten the use, I haven't seen that before.
Yeah,
Stay right there. I wanna get a picture of you, I'll put me first.
okay.
Should have given me a heads up a couple of days ago, so I could fix the face.
All right. John Johnson. You're no good, man. You supposed to send something and see, but yes, ma'am. Mhm. Oh. All right, our general body meeting second quarter on this Saturday, April the 22nd at 10:05 a.m. is in order. We will have a devotional by Reverend Russell Brooks, if I can find him online. And you got him, okay? Very good. We will have our devotional invocation by Reverend Russell Brooks. Unmute yourself, Russell. Do y'all hear? I don't. We
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here, you ready? You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go. Dear God, we come to you today thanking you for being the God that you are. Thanking you for all that you do, oh God. Thanking you for life and for it being as well as it is. As we come together today for the meeting of the Mississippi Valley State University National Alumni Association, we ask that you will be in the midst of this meeting today. We are beneficial for the Alumni Association, but most of all, it will lead Mississippi Valley State University to another level. Oh God, we love that place that we call Mississippi Valley State. It was there that we matriculated. It was there that we received knowledge. It was there that we received our degrees, and it made us the people that we are today. And we just thank you for that opportunity, but we can't turn our backs on that university because it meant so much to all of us. You know, God, we ask that you would keep the university and the alumni dear to your heart, and that you would shower down blessings from heaven upon us. Blessings that we won't even have room to receive. Send an overflow of blessings to us, oh God. We ask these blessings in Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you there, Reverend Russell Brooks, filling in for our national chaplain. We will now have roll call by Ms. Cassandra Hansbrough. Are you able to let her in, Olivia? She said she would come in as a participant. Uh-huh. All right. Well, what I will do in the essence of time, as we work out some of our technical issues this morning with access, I will do the roll based off of who's here physically, and then allow those that are online as participants that are representing chapters to do that virtually. To keep you from having to come up unless you have a report that you want to assess or give, I'll just call your name. Canton Madison.
Here.
Memphis area chapter.
Here, I do have a report.
Okay, come on up, Tommy, and come to the mic. That way they can hear you real good.
Good morning. This morning, I'm reporting $1,400 for dues and for 14 dues paid numbers.
All right, thank you, Tommy. Atlanta Metro.
Here.
Jackson Hines. Yeah, she's on she's virtual. She was one of the virtual ones. LaFleur County.
Here.
Sharkey Issaquena.
Here.
Sunflower County. Okay. Right there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sunflower County, we have paid our assessment and also scholarship. We paid, we reported $500 in dues for life. For national dues. And we also reporting 6 today, which is $600. We have 15 life members. And we have met all assessments at this time. And I do have one member with us, Ms. Ida School.
All right, thank
Thank
you. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. President,
Yes,
did she report any funds today?
600
600, and that's for dues?
for national dues.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Panola Lafayette. Okay. First Carolina.
First Carolina is on.
I think that is, I can't tell. Larney McClung, yeah. Just unmute.
Okay, yeah, First Carolina's on. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we are present and we have paid all of our assessments.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Humphreys County.
Present, we are going to put a check in the mail for our assessment and 125 for the President Cup, a total of 1625.
All right, thank you very much. Do I have any other chapters that I do not see online or that are present? Holmes County. Okay. I think that's everyone. Is that everybody present and everybody virtual that is representing a chapter? Okay, Dallas, Fort Worth. And Cielis Vaughn raised his hand. Can you allow? Unmute yourself. There you go, Cielis.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. There we go.
Okay, this is bringing you greetings from Meridian. We paid all our assessments with 6 members, a total of $2,100 sent over to the national. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dallas, Fort Worth. Can you unmute yourself, Courtney?
Good morning. This is Courtney Haymore, representing Dallas Fort Worth. We have paid our assessments, and what was the other things that we were supposed to represent? Or present?
No, just reporting how many members may be attending and any assessments that you paid. But you've taken care of the assessments?
Yes, we've taken care of our assessment, and we have
right.
17 members.
All right. Do I have any other chapters online? We got Courtney raise his hand. Okay. Chicago area. Unmute yourself, Ralph.
Okay, good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
The Chicago area chapter have paid all of their assessments, and we do have that's reported scholarship correction. We have paid also the yeah, I drew a blank. So we have paid all of our scholarship assessments and the assessments for the chapter.
All right. DC Metro. You can unmute yourself, Brad Harrington.
A DC Metro here, chapter assessment has been paid as well as national dues for 6 members. Over.
Thank you, Brad Harrington. Any other chapters represented for our roll call? All right, we will note those chapters that are in attendance, and we will be following up with those that are not represented that are a part of our active roster. Now we will have a call for an approval of the agenda that is projected. Yes, okay, yes, most definitely. Della Weddington, Jackson Hines. Unmute yourself, Della. Della.
Good morning. I'm
There
sorry.
we go. No, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm sorry. I was busy texting, trying to let everybody know I couldn't get in.
Okay, you're in.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good
Yes,
morning.
We have met all of our assessments. We have reported 30,000 for scholarship. We have submitted 5,000 for the Valley First. And I'm sorry, I am driving right now, so I don't have my report available as far as membership, but we are well on our way to meeting our membership challenge. So that's all I have today. Have a good one.
All right, thank you, Della. And you have two members present.
Okay, awesome.
Jackson Hines is well on their way to 110 members. And you did hit the $30,000 for the chapter challenge, right? And you did hit a $30,000 for the chapter challenge. Jackson Hines did not come to play this year, y'all. I'm trying to get y'all to understand. They dropping subtle hints last night in the board meeting, today in this general body meeting. So other chapters, Jackson Hines did not come to play with you all this year. They're still your colleagues, but they did not come to play with you this year.
And President Redmond.
Yes.
And President Redmond, you also heard the 5,000 for Valley First, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
When Margaret Clark finds out that y'all throwing out all these numbers from LaFleur County, y'all gonna be in trouble. She's not here today. Y'all gonna be in trouble. Very good. Very good. Holmes County has made another, they have another member here. Ms. Riley, did you have a report or anything that you wanted to give? Because this is wide open fight. Yeah, they not playing.
I know, President Remington, we've already given $25,000 down the scholarship.
Boom.
Paid the band, not the band, the football team, maybe get me paid the last holiday, we've been donated to the band and quite other things. So right now, we got that addition to add right now.
Gotcha. All right. Very good.
But we are increasing our membership, right now, our goal, all membership, our goal for 130 members this year.
All right. All right. So we got to go for 110 and then we got to go for 130. So it's what we talk about. Yeah. Yes. Now we have we have an affinity group represented, young alumni. Desmond, can you unmute yourself?
It's gonna be Carlin. Carlin is on the dude.
What do you say?
Yeah, get to
Again?
Carlin. Get to Carlin. He's gonna do the report.
Oh, okay.
President.
Oh, I see Monroe. I see,
Oh, thank
do
you.
y'all see Kylan? Do you see Kylan, Olivia? Okay. Unmute yourself there, Kylan Alford Renfield.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
Doing well. We have 37 members. Um, we have paid our assessment and we have sent, I don't have the numbers in front of me, a check to the NAA for all of our members for membership.
All right. That's Young Alumni, our affinity group. Do we have any representation from band alumni? I didn't see anybody. Did you see anybody, Olivia? Those are our affinity groups. We are having discussions with the Deltas for an affinity group. We're having discussions with the Alphas for affinity groups to organize those entities to be able to operate under the National Alumni Association while they have their own efforts that they are looking to achieve. We're trying to bring every alumni entity under the association for covering and for order. Yes, ma'am, Olivia. Yes, sir. Ralph? Unmute yourself, Ralph.
That was a mistake.
You good?
That was a mistake,
You good?
Pres. Yeah,
Okay.
good, Pres. That was a mistake.
All right. Very good, no problem. All right, looks like we've had a very substantive roll call. We will now move into the approval of the. Oh, is she on? All right, very good. Our baby child, the newborn, is on the line to bring greetings. Go ahead, Martha, can you unmute yourself?
I did. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, good morning. I am happy to say that the Middle Tennessee chapter is having its chartering ceremony today. And we are very excited about this moment in our lives. And I would like to report that we are present, I'm present, and we have paid all of our assessment and scholarship dues. And we have, since being chartered, we have accumulated an additional 5 members for a total of 20 members and a total of $3,600 that has been reported.
All right, thank you for that. That is the baby child, y'all. That's the, you know, when you get baptized at church, you just get excited for another soul that's been saved. That's what we got with the National Alumni Association. So Middle Tennessee, we look forward to sharing with you later today at 3.
Amen, and thank you.
Be certain to send that access.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And I
Yes,
want to
sir.
take the time to just thank, Robert Jackson, Ms. Briggs, and yourself for helping to make this possible. So thank you all very much. And Ms. Banks.
Deneen, okay, yes, very good. All right, thank you. All right, very good. So now, the agenda calls for us to approve the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Mr. President, Robert Jackson, Atlanta Metro, I move to approve the agenda as printed.
It has been moved and properly seconded. We approve the agenda. Are there any questions? All in favor, positive sign of aye. Nay. Ayes have it. We have an agenda that we'll be working from. Now we need an approval of the minutes that was distributed for your review. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Is there a second? Excellent. It has been moved and properly seconded. We approve the minutes. Are there any questions or unreadiness? If none, could I have approval by the positive sign of aye? Aye. Those who oppose? Ayes have it. We have an approval of the minutes for our archive and records. We will now have our treasurer's report by our national treasurer, Dr. Norma Quinn. If you all will give me a moment, I'm going to switch to share that document. All right.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Mr. President, I'm now ready to make my report.
All right.
This is our statement of financial position for our balance sheet. And you can see that we have cash on hand, $581,219.51. We have current assets of that $581,219.51. And we have fixed assets of $93,365, giving us a total assets of $674,584.51. Liability and equity, we have an open balance equity of $2,884.79. We have net assets of $591,630.22, giving us a net income for the quarter of January 1st through March 31st of $80,069.50. And total liability and equity of $674,584.51. And next we have our income statement. And this is the funds that we've received from January 1st through March 31st, 2023. We had income miscellaneous revenue, and that was beverages sold at the Alumni House of $72. We received Jackson Hines program support of $30,000. We have a donation for athletics. We've received ballot tested, we're ready, $543.55. For the Super Bowl party that was done in February, $1,295.75, which was a total for athletics of $1,839.30. General donations, that's a general operation donation. It was $1,049. Dues membership, that negative $85.40, that's going to be some fees for the different payment that we have. Flow through account fund, $500, and that $500 was from Sunflower County, where we they paid a scholarship, but they sent the money to the National Alumni, and we wrote that check for them. Coaches impact, $13,544.38. And total flow through funds for the first quarter, $14,044.38. Membership. Chapter assessments, we've only received $4,000. National dues, we've received $16,910.24. And life membership dues, we've received $6,923.46. Sustaining life, we've received $500. Whole life membership dues, $7,423.46. Scholarship assessment, we've received $8,000. Total membership, $36,333.70. Paraphernalia sales, $750, and that was actually a donation from C&J Design, and that was from paraphernalia sales that have been sold by that company. The President Cup, we've received $1,000, and for services, $6,300.83. We have received so far for our annual summit, $1,025. Total for services, $7,325.83, giving us a total income of $92,280.30. Our expenses for the quarter. Business expenses were $4,985.99. Lawn care was $400, and faculty and equipment was $450. Lawn care was $350. Repairs and maintenance, $350.98, and that was at the Alumni House. Our electric for the first quarter was $666.71. Our gas bill for the quarter was $813.96. Total for faculty and equipment of $2,631.65. Book subscription and reference $877.02. And this is various subscriptions that we have that are paid. Telephone and telecommunication, $273.41. That would include the telephone and Zoom and the Zoom account. Scribe fees for ballot test that We Ready campaign, $19.05. President's travel and meetings, $559.44. Athletic football coach expense, and this was the expense for that Super Bowl party, $1,232.81. Bank service charges, $478.78, and that's going to be a combination of fees from Cash App, Stripe, any type of fundraising campaign that any dues that you pay online, we receive a fee, and those fees are all put in bank service charges, except for the ones we've broken out, which is the Stripe processing fee of $130.21. The total bank service charges for the quarter was $608.99. Flow through expense of $500. That's where we dispersed the $500 received from Sunflower County. Paraphernalia purchases, those are different purchases that have been made, $491.50. Summit expense so forth, $30.94, and that's going to be fees that have been paid for your registration. Total expenses, $12,210.80. Net operating income was $80,069.50, giving us a net income of $80,069.50. If you will go to the next slide for me. Here on this slide, and I will let you review it on your own, but this is it shows all income that has been received and where it was received from. It also shows all of the expenses that were paid for that quarter. So, and each one is listed there. What we received for ballot tested, all membership dues that have been paid this quarter is listed here. So if you can check this report to see if you've sent funds in and they've been received and processed. This report will also show you all expenditures that have been expended for this quarter. Those are the membership dues and where they were received from. And please check this report, because sometimes we receive funds that we are not able to really designate where those funds or who paid those funds. So in your spare time, check this report and make sure that you have been given credit for funds that have been paid, and they're not in an undetermined fund account. These are the expenses that have been in expenditures that we paid. Mr. President, that's my report.
All right,
Mr.
then.
President,
Make a motion.
I was about to.
Okay.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that my report would be put on audit, would be placed on file for audit.
Is there a second?
Second,
It's been moved and properly second that we accept the treasurer's report as presented for audit. Are there any questions?
Jackson Hand.
Mhm.
Where is the valid first category?
I looked and I didn't see where Jackson had got it first. Is that what area is that on your report?
Carolyn, that's going to be listed in that $6,000. Because when you, Valley First is something that was actually started this year. And we actually do not have a field for Valley First. So it's in that 6,000 and whatever dollars I reported. But if you look in that expense, income and expense report here, it will be broken out. You don't see where Jackson Hines. Slow it down, Mr. President, for me, please.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was really watching me.
I was trying to,
Is it in this section?
I see the program report, that's that 30,000, but it's, let me see what the heading is. Look on the services.
Okay. Yeah. So
Services,
just for those of you that are,
6,000,
say again,
that $6,300.83.
we're at,
It's at the bottom of the screen here. Paraphernalia sales, President Cup.
services. Okay,
and
got you.
services. Okay.
Got you. All right, and for those of you that are online listening and tuning in, seeing this, we offer full transparency. So if there are ever any issues that you see or something that has been overlooked by us, by our National Treasurer and Financial Secretary, please do not hesitate to communicate to treasurer at MVSUNAA.org or finance@MVSUNAA.org. We are excited for this portion of the meeting, for it to be very long, for there to be multiple pages to this, because this shows that we are being fully transparent with every dollar that comes in, that we are being good stewards of the dollars that come in to maintain our association and to continue to support Dr. Briggs' administration with finances, with not just green t-shirts, but with finances. So we are excited about this. Valley First is a new initiative that the university has started in terms of scholarships. So our chapter scholarship assessments now move to Valley First so that they can be immediately accessed by the university as we are continuing to offer scholarships to our students to attract them and keep them here. All right. So that was our question portion. We have a motion that's on the floor. All those in favor, can I have a positive sign of aye? Those that oppose? Ayes have it. We have an approved treasurer's report. Let me go back now to our agenda. Thank you, Dr. Quinn, for that. Now we will need an approval of checks that have been written, and I can facilitate that. We only had 2 check disbursements that we needed to ratify with the general body to let you know and of additional expenses that have been paid. So give me 1 second to go back to that. And here it is. All right. We had a flow through, and this is that check that was written from us. And I know you guys are going like, okay, well, Sunflower account, this $500. Well, yeah, I put it. Yes, we're being very transparent with all of the transactions that take place for you to know. So this is the actual check that was distributed to the university, check number 1374 in the amount of $500. And that was for a scholarship from Sunflower County chapter to a student. The other expenditure is our annual maintenance on the Chapel Bell, the White Clock and Clarion Company. We have a maintenance agreement with them so that the Chapel Bell will continue to toll. And if there are any issues with it, we're responsible because we replaced that Chapel Bell and we want to make certain that that tradition is sustained here. So that's an annual, they come and check out the system. We can remote into it. We're going to continue to check with the university to make certain that it's not disturbing you all, Dr. Briggs. It'll go off for about 10 minutes. And it was going off every hour. So we want to make certain that the volume is appropriate to not disrupt every day. We love it because we're not here every day, but the folks here every day like, okay, the bell, okay. So we want to work through those particulars, but we also had a voided check that was voided, check number 1376 for a total $950 disbursement within this past quarter that we needed to get ratified. Is there a motion to approve these checks and debits that were dispersed? Thank you. Is there a second? All right, it's been moved and properly second that we approve these expenditures and debits that were dispersed from the Alumni Association's account in a total of $950. Are there any questions? If none, can I have approval with the positive sign of aye? Any of those that oppose? Ayes have it, and we have approval of those expenditures. Let's go back now to the agenda. All right, now we have an approval of the checks, and now we will hear from Dr.
Mr.
Briggs.
President,
Yes, ma'am.
I hate to interrupt you, but I just got a message. Ken Madison, will you explain that we have actually ran out of room in QuickBooks to be able to actually list those classes, but we tried to put it in the description as to what chapter that they are with. But in QuickBooks, we have ran out of space. We don't have space to add any new chapters.
Yes, and let me expound on that just a minute. Our finance team is in the midst of trying to secure professional resources to help us maximize the platform that we're using. We use QuickBooks. So alumni, under the sound of my voice, if you are an aficionado of QuickBooks and you use it on a day-to-day basis, we're working with customer service and support to help us understand, as a nonprofit, membership-driven organization that has various chapters, we need to look at our chart of accounts that are inside of QuickBooks. We've inherited a chart of accounts that has worked and served us, but as we are growing right now, we're understanding from our CPA that offers oversight to us that we've not quite been using the platform in the appropriate manner in terms of how we've classified some things. So we're in the midst right now because QuickBooks is a very robust platform. And when I say robust, it'll do a lot of things. We're utilizing it to make certain that we track. And if you can tell from this report, they're very thorough, and anything that is put in here, we're capturing it. However, there are limits that we've run into when we're adding. So as we're adding new chapters, the way we have it set up, we can't classify them as a chapter. So it's noted in the description. So we know that Canton Madison and Dallas Fort Worth and Middle Tennessee are all chapters. We're now working on a reclassification. So we're hopeful to have all of this in place, and we will be seeking direction and support from you as chapters to help us with some of this reporting, so that we can take some of the pressure off of our National Treasurer and Financial Secretary as we're growing. Or we will be entertaining the notion of contracting our bookkeeping out in an effort to not overtax that particular finance team. But we will be talking further with that. But I did want to offer that bit of clarity. Everything is in here. It's just a matter of how it's being reviewed. So don't feel in any way that your chapter's information is not being received. It's just a matter of how it's being reported. You good? Okay, very good. All right, now we will hear from our Dr. Briggs. I'm sorry I can't do it like Damien does, but you know, our president, Dr. Gerald Briggs. Come on, Dr. Briggs, to the mic. Let's give him a hand as he comes. Thank you, Dr. Briggs. You can speak to them. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good morning. Before I begin with my report, I just wanted to just take an opportunity again to thank you all as a National Alumni Association, and understanding the importance of what this means for the continuing our university moving forward. So definitely, I do appreciate all the support that you all are giving and continue to give to assure that we're moving the university forward. And indeed, we are. And I know we couldn't be doing what we're doing if it wasn't for you all continued support and love for the university and our current students, because they need you. They really do. We all do. So I just wanted to begin by thanking you all again for all that you all are doing for your alma mater. Now, in today's report, I'm pretty much giving updates on the priorities that we set at the beginning of the academic year, when I penned the letter really highlighting 3 areas that we're going to be intentional about focusing on this academic year. The first was the reaffirmation of our accreditation with SAC-COC. We know that this is a arduous process. There are 3 phases to this process. The second phase was to actually have the on-site team come to campus and give their assessment of our standards. And really, that guides how we move forward. Are we meeting those standards? Are there any questions or anything like that? So basically, they were here, it was about 6 weeks ago that the team actually was here, and they were here for a duration of about 5 days. And at the end of that process, what happens is that team sits down with me and the university leadership to discuss any findings that we were not compliant with any of the standards, any recommendations, and they do that before they actually submit the final report to the SAC-COC executive board. Now, typically, universities, there are some findings and recommendations that come out of that visit. And rarely, actually less than 10% of institutions have a report where there are no findings or no recommendations. And I'm happy to report to you all today that we are one of those 10%.
All right. Yes.
The results of that assessment came back with no recommendations and no findings. And folks, that is a big deal. It really is, because it does speak about us really doing all that we say we do, and really assuring that our educational opportunities, our university finances, all those things are in place. Our faculty and staff have all the credentials that we are supposed to have to serve in these capacities. So by having no findings and no recommendations, again, that is a really big deal, but it does show we're doing what we say we're doing. The second priority was really looking at our strategic enrollment opportunities. We realized that the post-pandemic, or even during the pandemic, enrollment across the country was affected. Most institutions, actually 90% of colleges and universities, have had an enrollment decline during the pandemic. But now we're saying, how are we going to buck that trend? What are we going to do again to move the university forward and rebuild on our enrollment? So I tasked a group that we're calling the Strategic Operations Enrollment Council, which is made up of faculty, staff, and representatives from you all as well, that really is not just looking at strategies, but actually operationalizing some things to assure that we're going to be moving forward. One of the things that came out of that, or one thing that we are going to be doing, is you all have already heard about the Valley First Scholarship. With this Valley First Scholarship, every single incoming full-time freshman will receive a $1,000 scholarship. That's important because we know that that scholarship is part of what students are looking at in making a decision about what university they're going to be attending. So to be able to give every single one of our incoming freshmen some form of scholarship is extremely important. And this will be above any other scholarship that they'll be receiving as well. So it won't count against it. It will be above that. So that's one strategy that we're really going to be moving forward, and we already are. Right now, we are seeing a tremendous uptick in our applications, as well as the admits and our intent to enroll. So that is good signs that we are going to have an enrollment increase for the fall. Another example that's happening immediately right now from the fall to the spring, if you've seen and you've taken notice to the size of the band has increased almost 75% in numbers from the fall. And we're being intentional now with Mr. Harvey and Dr. Barnes to really build on that capacity as well. Dr. Bonds is also serving as my special assistant with enrollment and strategic growth, and we are looking to build on our dual enrollment capacities as well. Most folks don't know that we can have dual enrollment classes anywhere in the United States, not just here in the state of Mississippi. So we've already aligned with several high schools in Louisiana and in Tennessee to add to our dual enrollment numbers. So again, all these efforts will both ultimately have an impact on our enrollment for the fall. So we are anticipating an enrollment increase in that regard. Now, the third priority was really looking at our infrastructure and our deferred maintenance challenges, and how do we now address those things to modernize our campus. And as you will hear later in the legislative update, we got word actually last night that the governor has now signed all of the bills that have anything as far as our appropriation for Mississippi Valley State University.
All right.
So that's really.
Yeah.
And with that being said, we have actually 6 projects that we're hoping that will be moving forward very quickly, or at least within the next academic year. And again, with the governor signing these bills, we now know that we have the funding in place to move these projects forward. Now it's just a matter of working with the Bureau of Buildings and other entities to actually start getting some dirt moving and that sort of thing. The first project is campus signage. We're going to be replacing all the campus signage here on campus and bringing in technologically and modernized signage throughout the university. Now, this was also came about from our partnership with FedEx. You know, we have that partnership with FedEx, but that partnership is growing by leaps and bounds. So now working with them and all that, they're going to be helping us and supporting the project to replace all the campus signage. The other next project is going to be the demolition of LaFleur Hall and the planning to build a modernized apartment style residence hall with a capacity of 300+ beds to replace that location where LaFleur Hall is going to be taken down. So again, we now have the preliminary money for the demolition and the pre-planning to replace that facility. Also, the next project is the Jumbotron. The Jumbotron project is going to be moving forward. It was actually on the IHL board agenda item for this past week's meeting, and it was approved. So that project will be moving forward very quickly, and ideally the Jumbotron will be in place before the start of this upcoming football season. The student union, we now again have the approval to move some monies around to support the complete renovation for the student union. Again, great news. And hopefully that will start with phase 2. Phase 2 is going to be completely demolishing the Royal Room area and rebuilding that with a 2-level multi-purpose room, a multi-purpose area. The student union basically is going to be 4 phases. We completed phase 1 already, which was the bringing on Chick-fil-A. Phase 2 is the removal of the Royal Room. Then phase 3 will be the internal structures. Phase 3 and 4 will happen. So this project will be a multi-year project, 2 to 3 years. But now to have all the funding in place and the approvals to move forward, we're going to be moving forward with phase 2 as quickly as possible. The other is the academic skills building, which is right across from the parking lot. We now have the approval to move monies around to completely renovate that facility and add another academic space that we know that we need, so sorely need here on campus, and have some flexibility to move some of our academic departments around. So that building will be, that complete renovation will also be moving forward. And also the education building, which is right next door, we have the money now to completely replace the roof on that facility. We know that we have to do much more in that building than just replace the roof, but the roof, replacing the roof will allow us to at least have a building where we know we've had some internal struggles with the rain and other weather related issues in that facility. So all in all, these 6 projects, we now have the money in hand. It's just now a matter of going through the process to assure that the projects begin to move forward. So all in all, I think that again, all these things are showing that we're working toward those priorities. We know that we have a lot more that we need to do, but again, the assistance that you all are giving is just very welcomed and we thank you all, and we're going to continue to add more priorities as we move forward. But we're going to focus on these 3 until we have them completed or close to completion. Then we're going to be talking about additional priorities that we're going to be also setting for this upcoming academic year. So all in all, when we keep talking about those words about us Valley being in motion, again, I think that all of these things are really speaking to us being in motion. And I know that we couldn't be where we are today again if it wasn't for all of us working together to assure that Mississippi Valley State University remains healthy, remains viable, and remains successful. So thank you all. I appreciate everything.
All right. Yeah, we will take a few questions and we'll take 1 or 2 online. So internally here, Carolyn Bridges from Jackson Hines chapter.
Just a question. More funding this year than we did last year. I think 25 million, but that an increase from last year.
Well, it's a combined, it's part of money that were allocated last year that's now being moved forward. So it's about the same amount from last year to this year combined.
The second thing, with all these phases and projects that's going on, is there someone that you won't be holding responsible, making sure the quality of the work being done, that we don't end up like we did the sudden deal, and you have to go back and redo something because you don't have somebody in place to make sure that the contractors do what they're supposed to do? If there is some insurance that when we're looking out the ballot side, make sure that it's done, money is well spent, we don't have to go back and redo something.
Sure. Well, that's part of what we're doing and holding the architect accountable on one hand, and then a quality inspector, which we have someone here on staff. Now, we're going to be working with the Bureau of Buildings even more directly because I have the same concern that we don't want to be spending millions of dollars and then the building is not adequate. And we've had some of those concerns in the past. So by having more eyes on it, by really being more intentional about assuring that we are getting what we pay for. Because the other challenge has been obviously in these past 3 years, the cost of construction is just outrageous. And that was part of the concern with the student union. Initially, we thought that project was going to be a total of $20 million. And the lowest bid came in at $25 million. And so we had to go back and get approvals, which was part of what the governor signed, to move $5 million from one project to now complete the union project. But it's about holding the architects accountable. And honestly, I haven't been intentional about certain architects. We will not work with them anymore because of that concern that you just mentioned.
Right, because if you work that hard to get the funding, you don't want to have to go back, get the funding to redo something that should have been done right this person.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, yeah.
John Johnson.
Yeah, Mr. President, the 6 projects that you just talked about, Jumbotron, is there anything else gonna be added to like the football field or some more projects that I know you said some more will be coming on.
Right.
The name, all I know, all of these will be done this year.
Right.
But we know the Jumbotron is gonna be one of the projects.
Right, Jumbotron will be done this year. We're looking at turfing the field next year. We have about 75% of the money already for the turfing project, but in order to actually move a project forward, you have to have the entire amount. So the turfing of the field most likely will happen next year.
John?
Yeah, just the education building, when you put the roof on it and the other things that needed, when you do the this is, reports of the priorities for building and that kind of thing. Well, does that mean that this particular one, now that you got to look, does it move up all of the things that's gonna be done?
It'll stay where it is. Right now, that would be, let me reflect back. That's project number 2. So it will remain the same, but basically by replacing the roof, it'll stop it will stop the continuing, stuff that's happening in the building. Deterioration, I'm sorry, of the building. So at least by having a new roof, we can stop it from getting worse, but it will stay as a priority where it was initially.
One final question. In that regard, are we asking for new buildings or just renovated buildings?
Both. Both. We're asking for a new academic building. Because we know that we need to move some departments in some of our other facilities. We need a new academic building. So we are able to do that. So we're asking for both.
Yeah, but in the night.
Two easy question, Dr. Bridge. What is our present enrollment? And the second question is, do you all have liquidated damages built into your contract for the renovation projects?
Well, our current enrollment, we're approximately about 1,800 students. We are hoping again for the fall that we're going to be significantly, we compare fall to fall, spring to spring. So we are hoping that for the fall, which we were around 1,900, that we're going to get back to over 2,000 students for the fall. And there is a clause in the contract for liquidated damages, but that becomes a legal process. I can't really speak about what happened in the past, particularly with the Sutton building, but I know that we do have clauses in the contract, or we have insurance policies that go up to a year. Now, the challenge happens is what happens after a year. And that's what we're finding in some of, now, right now, our current buildings that were renovated, primarily our residence halls, that's been renovated, Edna Horton, College Hall 1, those are the most recent, and those buildings are doing okay. So we do now have more intentionality and accountability in these projects, but that's part of what we're insisting, that we do get what we pay for, and that we're not only settling for the lowest bid, but we actually have someone or some people in place that's going to assure that they're doing what they say that they're supposed to be doing.
All right, Dr. Briggs, in support of, we appreciate you for this update. We have entities that support specific areas of the university. You mentioned that the turf project you may not have all of the funding. We have an athletic support committee, and then we do work in concert with the MVSU V Club's athletic foundation.
Right.
So if you can make those entities aware of what the shortfalls are, they can now begin to create cases for support to help reach the number that the university needs to complete the project. It's just helpful to know that you have a portion. And then, yes, us as alumni and supporters and philanthropic agents, we want to help fill the gap.
Right.
So be certain to let us know any renderings that you can share that gives us visual insight that typically excites the alumni base, and they'll have more sense of what is to come. And if we can work in that regard, we'll most definitely do our part to continue to help support and help keep us moving.
Good. Well, thank you.
Yes.
I know the athletic director just walked in. He may speak more about.
He will. He's got an update.
The turfing project, but we are just now hiring a professional to really look at that project. But all the initial estimates we've heard, we know that we're gonna be short.
Gotcha.
But again, we do have some monies already in the, here at the university. But once we get this professional to come in and really assess what it will be, we'll definitely pass that information along.
Very good. All right.
And again, I just want to thank you all. I'm sorry, I saw somebody else.
Dr. Bridge, I'm kind of concerned about all of the legislative stuff that we probably wrong time.
It's coming. We got an update from Russell, and then that will most definitely be the opportunity to speak to it. Yeah. Okay.
Do you have an oversight committee to make sure that everything taking place that should take place?
Yes, in most cases, these construction projects are with the Bureau of Building. And them along with us, our team, meet regularly. We go over every aspect of the program, the CDs, the construction documents, all that sort of thing. So we do have a collection of individuals here on campus along with the Bureau of Buildings that really assess all of it.
And one last question, Ms. Rucker, was it? Yes, Holmes County.
Dr. Briggs, you mentioned the demolition of the floor home. Is there any money for that?
Yes.
And timeline are think that this project will begin for us to rebuild it.
Well, initially, the demolition, we're hoping that will happen this academic year in the pre-planning. The challenge is going to be, now we have to look at getting the funding to rebuild. And right now, the estimate of building a residence hall to that scale and that size is going to be about $30 million. So that's going to be part of our next ask during this upcoming legislative cycle. But also, we're looking at other funding opportunities that might be available to us. One of the things that I was intentional about, because I knew we were going to be going through this SACS process, is for us not to take on any additional debt, because obviously that was part of what was being reviewed. But now that we're past that, we are going to have to be strategic in really looking at how we build and grow. And if we have to assume some additional debt, then that's something that I'm going to have to really consider. And we'll have that conversation, you know, as a university before it happens. But we were making some asks this year for the funding to completely replace the floor. Unfortunately, we didn't get the total amount. So that's going to be still the number one priority, is seeking funding opportunities through that venue, but also now looking at some public-private partnership opportunities as well.
Also, when you talk about replacing and going back to the legislature for funding for a new building, isn't it important to see where our enrollment has increased and you got more students and you don't have places to put them, whereby you could justify you needing? Because if our enrollment don't increase, then they're gonna think, why do you need if your enrollment is down? So that's one of the other incentives to increase enrollment.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's also one of the factors that we know as far as our recruiting. Right now, if we don't have facilities that are attractive to new students, then they won't come. So we also have to factor that into it as well. That's why replacing or rebuilding the student union, bringing on modernized housing, looking at our academic program, all those things have to be considered and going forward. And how do we build and be able to attract new students? That's part of the challenge as well.
Because the students of today is not the students of 1980, 1990,
Right.
2000. You got a whole different, and the legislature, they understand that too.
Sure.
Okay.
And so when we bring students on campus and they come in one of our residence halls, when they go to one of our sister institutions and they see apartment style, they see single rooms, they don't see community restrooms anymore.
Right.
That matters. So this project will basically help to modernize our student housing, which again can be an attraction for today's student population.
Very good. Yes, Ms. Golden, this will be the last question.
Well, I mean, we currently have most of our high school dual enrollment
Already
right
here.
now are in Mississippi. As a matter of fact, 99% of them are in Mississippi. But if we're going to grow in that area, we're now looking at our surrounding states to pull some of the high schools from those states as well. So it's just a matter of us growing in that area, not losing any of our current partnership that we have here in the state of Mississippi.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Briggs.
Thank you all.
Yes, let's give a hand on for that update. Thanks, Dr. Briggs. We look forward to supporting any of those areas, oversight, strategic planning, any of the areas that you are not at capacity with the university, we have seasoned professional alumni that are willing to volunteer their time and resources to help fill in the gap for the university. So don't hesitate to let us know when you need someone to stand in the gap. Yes, sir. All right, now we will have our legislative update by Russell Brooks, who is the chair of our legislative committee. For those of you that do not know, we have a legislative committee that is made up of alumni that are legislatively astute. And it is this particular committee's intention to keep the alumni abreast of what the university's requests are, also to make us aware of the things that we need to be conscious of as alumni, to be more legislatively astute. For those of us that may not know who our legislators are, that may not know any of the due processes, we want you to know that we have a legislative committee that can answer whatever questions and help you to get whatever information it is that you need to know to further your intelligence about our legislative process here in the state of Mississippi. So as I switch now to go to that particular document, Russell, you can begin to tune up as I try to find that.
Good morning, my fellow alums.
Good morning. I got to get to a whole nother document. Hold on, yeah. Give me a minute.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. We hear you loud and clear.
Yes, I'm going to speak kind of loud because I want everyone to hear me. And I want to, first of all, say, commend Dr. Briggs for the job that he's doing at Mississippi Valley State University. He's in the trenches with his sleeves up, and he's not only in the trenches, but he and Damian, they are producing. And we're going to continue to work with them in conjunction and in concert with them. I also want to say thanks to all of the alums who reached out to your legislators, who called them, who made personal contacts to them, with them, and who came to Jackson on our green and white day at the Capitol. It makes a difference when your voice is heard and you're seen. It makes a great impact on what we receive. I want to, at this time, put to rest a myth that was out there. There's been a myth out there, and the myth is, they called me with it, they called President Redmond with it, they called other alums with it, saying only thing Mississippi Valley State got from the legislature this past year was $500,000. We can put that to rest. And I'm glad that President Briggs, Dr. Briggs, stated that the governor did sign into law this morning the request that we made. I'm going to go over those requests. Some were from last year, some are from this year. But all in all, we did make progress. But we can't stop with this progress. There's still $2 billion for next year in the state legislature. So as the president of the legislative committee, we will be coming together soon, meeting with Dr. Briggs and Damian, and putting together our request for next year. And we will start earlier this year because they start sometime in October, looking over what the agenda gonna be, what they're gonna be looking to fund for next year. So it's important that we get an early start. And any time that we called you and asked you for your support, asked you to be in a certain location or asked you to reach out to your legislators, we would greatly appreciate, and it would be extremely important that you do so. But I'm going to give you now the 2023 Legislative Appropriation Bill, the true final for Mississippi Valley State University. First of all, for the demolition of LaFleur Hall and pre-planning for construction, furnishing, and equipping of the new resident hall and related facilities is $3,427,000 $427,500. Once again, that's $3,427,500. Planning for repairs, renovation, furnishing, and equipping of the Charles Lackley Recreational Center from Section 1, Chapter 480, Laws of 2021 amended, $500,000. Repair, renovation, expansion, and improvement to existing buildings and facilities on the main campus from the 2022 IHL Capital Improvement Fund, $10,200,000. Heirs Endowment State Treasure Fund number 332580000, $424,500. From the heirs unexpended balance from prior year appropriations, $795,475. Funds reauthorizations from Senate Bill 3002, 2022 regular session for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 for constructions and or repairs and renovation projects, $654,339. Funds reauthorizations from Senate Bill 3002, 2022 regular session for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 for emergency roof repair, $3 million. Funds authorizations to defray costs for construction and or repairs and renovation projects that were approved for fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2023, $1,553,179. To defray expenses related to capital needs, constructions and or repairs and renovation projects, $5 million. For a grand total, and all of these, according to Dr. Briggs, was signed by the governor on yesterday, $25,554,993. We really appreciate the work that Dr. Briggs, Damian, the legislative committee, and all of the alums who participated in this past legislative session. This should be encouraging to us to continue to reach out to our legislators, to come together and to put together a plan of action, like Dr. Briggs stated, to ask for that money for LaFleur Hall, ask for that money for these other projects in this upcoming legislative session, because there's over $2 billion that is still there that they did not appropriate last year. And I was in a meeting this past week in Vicksburg, Mississippi. Representative Robert Johnson was there, and he informed us of that $2 billion that's still out there. So we will be convening soon, putting together a new proposal along with Dr. Briggs, led by Dr. Briggs and Damian, to make those requests from the upcoming legislature. Also, there was a lot of questions about the contractors doing the buildings. Those contractors must be licensed and bonded. And if we catch an error soon enough, those errors can be filed on their bonds. And their bonding company will make them either make those necessary corrections to those errors, or their bonding companies will pay someone else to come in to fix those problems that we have. So if we stay on top of things, keep the course that we're going, I feel that we're going to make a difference for Mississippi Valley State University. And my fellow alumni, let's maintain our enthusiasm, our desire that we have for Mississippi Valley State to move forward. And I want to commend all of us for the work that we've been doing. Thank you for hearing my report.
Thank you, Brother Russell. Any questions? I think we're good in that regard. The Legislative Committee does meet monthly. If you are interested in serving in that capacity, not just to listen, but to help us with communicating with our alumni chapters, to help us in setting up events that we will be looking to work with the university and hosting the legislators in various communities. We need warm bodies. We need individuals to help us as we do this planning and work closely so that we can continue to grow on this momentum. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Rucker. Yes, ma'am. All of this is available through your chapter presidents. You'll be able to get that. We're gonna work on that. We'll be sending it to all active members. Duly noted, Ms. Pat, that we need to work on a couple of chapter presidents that we need to engage to make certain that they are functioning at the role that they need to. Ain't nothing like the truth. So we appreciate you, Brother Stanley, for being sincere about your president. It's all of the link to all of our handouts is a link. And again, during the summit that we're going to talk about, we've got some new practices that we're going to be doing that we need to make all of the membership aware of. So when it comes to documents, everything will be housed on our website. Everything, whatever it is that you need, will be housed on it for download and for you to access. But you will always be able to request it through your chapter president or through communications and PR at MVSUNAA.org if there's something that you're missing that you do need. John?
Yeah, my question has to do with the legislative update and all that. How do so they have approved all these funds for this university? How is it that the funds can sit there and when they get ready to start building the building, they ain't got enough money? Legislators, I think we need to look at that kind of situation. We've had money for the student union for the last 5 years. Ain't nothing. I'm not saying the university's done that, but
right.
I'm saying that there have been no movement to tear it down.
Gotcha.
If we continue that way, we have the same problem 2 years from now, because the same building we sitting over there. And the money that they've allocated, we have now would be insufficient.
Gotcha.
To build a new building.
So let me speak to that. So with regards to the legislative committee, now that we know the appropriations, we have further intelligence. We're working closely with the university now from the legislative liaison, Dr. Briggs' area, our legislative committee. John, we do solicit your involvement with the legislative committee so that these issues that you know may persist, that we can help to get in front of them and make certain that we keep this thing moving. Dr. Briggs, did you want to say anything?
Right. We have had $20 million, but after they did when this project, obviously, when bidding happened, the lowest bid came in at 25 million. And before we can actually move a project forward, now have to ask for the additional 5 million to be moved. And that's part of this approval that we did get. So we're going to be moving, and at $10.2 million, 5 million of that is now going to go to the union.
Correct.
So now that building or that project actually go forward.
Got you. So in essence, John, what the position that the National Alumni Association is going to take is that now that we have the intelligence and we have the rapport and the relationship with the administration, we now will try to do an assessment. We're actually trying to secure a grant for strategic planning. The National Alumni Association and this development and fundraising team is looking through the Delta, the regional authority to go after some strategic planning dollars. So we're now that we're conscious of the things that have been eating us up, we're now taking a conscious effort as an alumni to work with the university to help us solve these issues so that we maximize these dollars and be ready next year for a whole nother reload. We ain't got no money. We spent all the money that you gave us. So we want some more. That is gonna be our approach.
Jerry.
Yes.
You might want, since you're telling them about the strategic plan, you might want to let the alumni know that we have met on that and that you have informed Dr. Briggs about the money for the strategic plan. And those are things that we're working with them toward doing and not just a strategic plan, but the overall long-term plan.
Yes. Yes, we're making strides forward. But what were we about to say, John?
I'm just going, have we asked the Floyd County Board of Supervisors for any money? I'm talking about real, ain't talking.
Tell them they
Some of the money that they got coming in,
Yeah,
they give it to everybody.
yeah. And we do. Out.
And ask us, we won't have. Yeah, 5 million.
Right. Well, Antoine Brown has been working very closely with his dollars. We've run into issues because this is a state institution of how we've got to maneuver that interlocal agreement to make certain that we stay in accordance with it. But yes, sir, I have from the National Alumni Association, Dr. Briggs and Hakeem from their perspectives have worked with and even Gene Cagney from the foundation and those particulars. But yes, sir, we're going after, and not just LaFleur. We're trying to relive Washington County so we can have a footprint in Greenville, and we're going to be asking the Washington County Board of Supervisors.
Jerry, remembering that strategic plan we're doing, Valley is going to be the hub for that whole region.
Yes.
I mean, for the whole region.
And what I don't want us to be creatures of is that we've got these strategic things that are going on that the alumni don't know anything about. What we're trying to do now is put our comprehensive case for support and all of our planning in place, and at our alumni convention and at these quarterly meetings, as these things come into fruition, we're going to be making you aware so that we can get additional support from you. We need bodies. We need individuals with intelligence, that with hunger and passion for the university to work with us on these various committees. So once we have these committees, we have an operational platform to support the university from, and we're not going rogue and stopping and talking to folks in the parking lot. We have a committee, we have agendas, we have directed, structured approaches that we're going to be working at to kind of help really tackle these issues that have persisted. And John, I know how passionate you are about the university, how much you've sown into this association and the university as a long-standing employee that retired 3 times from the university. So we most definitely want to make certain that we do keep a pulse and that you are aware that, yes, we try to tap every resource that we know to create an opportunity. And we've got some other options that we're looking at to generate revenue from the Alumni Association directly to the university. All of these things will be put together in our overall roundtable that we're going to be having with the university's administration, our executive team, their executive team, so that we can begin to really synchronize and work in one accord. All right. Thanks everybody for that. Thank you, Russell, for that legislative update. Now we will hear from the baddest athletic director in the nation. The little short kappa guy, the little dude with the, the black beard, the skinny jeans and the white tennis shoes or whatever it is. Mr. Elevate himself, Mr. Hakeem McCullough. That might be.
Appreciate you. Good morning, good afternoon. It's always a pleasure to stand before you as the athletic director of Mississippi Valley State University. I'm going to just go over a few things that we have going on inside of athletics. And just talk about our programs and where we are and where we're going. Currently, competitively, we're not where we want to be. I mean, you can look at the website, look at the records, but we will elevate the game. It's as simple as that. I get it. I truly get it. The same questions that you get as an alum myself. I ask those questions and I hear those questions from you as well. So they're definitely welcome. And with love, we're going to move Valley forward. We're going to continue to move, stay in motion as a whole. Facilities, I know we talked, that was a discussion with the president. And excuse me, before I move forward, I would just want to give my hats off to Dr. Briggs, because he is definitely pushing it forward. He's pushing the cabinet forward, pushing the university forward. He's wanting to see things happen. As Brother John said, we've been waiting on this, and but we ain't got no shovels in the ground. And that's what Dr. Briggs has been pushing for. He's pushing to elevate and keep Valley in motion as a whole. So I want you guys to understand of what is being done behind the scenes before I got here, while I'm here, and to move this university forward. So be on the lookout. Some things are coming in reference to facilities. We are making the pre-planning stages to try and have turf on the field. We're working some things out to try and see if we have the funds or what we need to do to get the funds in that regard. But hopefully next year we'll have the field, the turf. That is the hopes as a whole, what we're trying to do. Basically, hopefully the last game will be shovels, dirt in the ground so that we can move forward. We do have an updated track, a new resurfaced track, which is a beautiful thing. We've had a high school track meet on it. We want to have a track meet for a college track meet next year. And so we're definitely doing some things. We have a cross country trail on campus, and we will be having a cross country meet this upcoming year. Those are in reference to our facilities, where we at and where we're going to elevate the game from that standpoint. Academics, of course, we're closing out the year, and we will give an updated report of how our student athletes are doing in the classroom. But we've been getting good reports, and we have great rapport with our professors and people across campus. So they are taking care of business in the classroom, as we know that. That's for me, that's a no-brainer. One big thing that I'm very proud of to figure out is what we have been lacking is a strength and conditioning coach. We do now have one starting May 1st to on campus. We have a strength and conditioning coach. So if you're not gonna clap,
I try to get him started.
But that's big for our student athletes, as our student athlete welfare and health and wellness of it. Is basically the core of it all. It's academics compliance, strength and conditioning, and our athletic training. Those pieces are very. You don't have one or the other, you're not going to have anybody on the field. Academics compliance, of course, if you break the rules and you're not eligible, you can't get on the field. If you're not healthy and you're not getting stronger and faster, you can't get on the field. So those pieces are the core to the formula of having our student athletes perform at a high level on and off the field. So that's a big piece. Of course, you know, I can't be up here without talking about season tickets. I'm going to get a roll call of who's here today, and then I'm going to see how many of you got your season tickets already. So then I'll be calling you directly. But please get your season tickets. They are on sale. We were trying to get parking, tailgating on sale earlier, but we were trying to work some kinks out so things will make sense for a lot of people in that regard. So just be looking out to it. I'll definitely put those on sale, hopefully within, we're pushing for May 1, but hopefully within the next month or so, that we'll have parking, tailgating, because you know when tailgates go on sale, it goes crazy. So and we want to definitely have those. We had about 300 season tickets last year. The year before that it was about 150. So we want to double up. We want to shoot for 500 season tickets.
Right. 500
season ticket sales. That is a number that we can obtain, right? With the alums that we have, it's a no-brainer. It's 10,000 seats in the Rice Time Stadium, right? About 2,000 of the seats are come. That's with band, students, and guests. So you have about 8,000. I truly believe in our region of our alums, we can fill that stadium week in, week out. Don't be a fair weather fan. When we're doing well, you're coming, and when we're not, if you're gonna support, be a supporter. Right. True supporter. Be a true supporter. In this room, I know we have true supporters. right?
Yes.
So we have to make sure that you bring in one or two from your community to come to the game. I truly, our season tickets are $100. We spend that, if we go to Chick-fil-A 2-3 times, we coming over here, we gonna spend that. You're gonna spend that on the food and snacks, and double quick, and travel, y'all, you spending it. You spending it. So, with respect to everything that goes on, that we have going on, come to the game. We should be able to sell out. We should be able to sell out week in and week out. Because guess what that does? That helps the program. If you want things to improve, this is how it is. Come to the game, give the support, give to athletics as a whole. Right? So these are the things that we definitely want. We want to pack out every game. My charge and the possibility, how many alumni chapters do we have?
23.
23. I'm not sure what you have done in the past for athletics. I'm sure it's definitely, you've been doing something. But I want to give the charge out and see if you step up to it. I want to give a minimum of each chapter to give $10,000. You have a year from now, Green Day 2024, to come up with this. 2024, it can be done. April 9th, 2024 will be Green Day for athletics. I'm asking for $10,000 for each alumni chapter to give $10,000. Of course, if you give 5, I'm gonna be happy. But I think we can do it. With I think it's just the Middle Tennessee chapter, it has 20 members. To get $10,000, $5,500 a year. In a year's time, I think that can be accomplished. But I want to give you a task. I want to give you a mark to where we can reach. I think it can be done. Anything we can do is better doing this together. I also want to, definitely going to have a conversation but I want to have, with our alumni chapters, we definitely have strong regionally groups and alumni chapters, but I do have athletes that's from all over. And sometimes that is missed, right? So I wanted to get with President Redmond and commend you on the job that you're doing. And I'm definitely helping to get to that 5,000 of that number. And I think we had 1,100 right now. And to continue to push that. One way that athletics can help with that is we're trying to get a database of our former alums, but trying to have an organized alumni affiliate group. So we're definitely going to be in talks with that and see what that process is, and see what the leadership of that would happen. And I think that would help. We have people all over, New York, Washington, California, Africa, all over of our student alums that are definitely doing well. But don't have that necessarily tie into the university and alumni groups because they go back to where they're from or new jobs present themselves in that area and they only tied to their teammates. They may have not been as outgoing as most of us and they're just tied directly to that. So that's something I definitely want to do to try and help to get the give back, the alumni support as a whole, that we all win as a whole. Last thing I want to talk about is our classic, our Chicago Classic and Indianapolis Classic. We're still meeting. I know the question, what's the hotel? When tickets going on sale? We just got off a call with Chicago Classic this past week, and the information will come out very soon, hopefully next week, and so that we can present it to you all so you can make your reservations as a whole in regards to it. Mr. Redmond, he can disseminate that information out as well. I'm going to be also asking for the information from each chapter so that when we put out stories that you get it via email. We do a lot of social media stuff. But I don't want to miss the mark when it comes to informing everyone in that regard. So that is something that we did also have a sign up so you can stay in the know on our website. So people can sign up so that they can get that information, but I will get that information from President Redmond. And that's all I have at this point. Of course, I know you have some questions and I hope I have a clear answer for you.
Any questions?
President Redmond.
Yes, sir.
I have a question for Athletic Director Hakeem. Athletic Director, you know, I called you about that advertisement that they was putting out in the Circuit City Classic, where they had that the last time we was there was when Jerry Rice in '84, when Jerry Rice caught the 2 touchdowns, which it was actually it was '85 when Vincent Brown got MVP and we beat Tennessee State. Did they ever clear that information up?
Yes, sir. I had that conversation after I spoke with you, but the story was already out, but they have made that
retraction.
That retraction, correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. We have heard from our athletic director. We have been given some directives and we will work strategically with you. Brother Cisney, did you have anything that you wanted to add from the athletic support committee that gives us? Yes, sir. Come right on. That's Stanley Cisney with our athletic support committee. Thank you, Hakeem. Yes, sir. And as Brother Cisney comes, he is the chair of the athletic support committee. So if you're interested in serving, Brother Cisney is your point of contact if you want to get involved with the efforts that we're doing strategically to help the university athletic program. Brother Cisney?
Good morning. Just to piggyback on what our AD has said is that really we got a project going what we call Coaches Impact. We're trying to get 20 captains. We have 10 now, and our projected goal is to raise $250,000 by the end of the year. And we're trying to get money by fundraising, family, friends, national alumni, any way we can get. So we have 10 captains now, and we need 10 more. That way, each captain can raise $12,500, and that'll give us our $250,000. And we're hoping we have an outstanding football season. That way, that'll help our money come in. As of now, we have roughly at $26,000, and the money come in a little slow, but still, we're still optimistic about it, and we feel it's going to come on in once we start rolling and see the football team, you know, winning these 7, 8, 9, 10 games that we projected that we're going to win this year.
All right.
And we are excited about our new football coach. And another thing that we want to do is ask alumni or family, friends, or fraternities, sororities, or whatever, is feeding the football players after games, football players and cheerleaders. We fed last week, when I said we talking about the athletic committee, we fed the football players, the cheerleaders, our AD actually, we feed everybody. So we fed everybody on campus the last week. We fed Bethune-Cookman, we fed the baseball, we fed the softball, football, coaches, whoever wanted to play, could have came by and got to play yesterday. That was that our AD asked us to do. So we'd have come out of our pocket with the money. So now if y'all want to donate, we still feel free to do that as well. So we got a good group of guys and ladies on our committee that but we're still looking for 10 more captains to help raise this $250,000 that we're gonna try to have by the end of the year. That's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you, Brother Cisney. Again, the Athletic Support Committee works in concert with the MVSU V Club. We are all working together to successfully and fully fund athletics. If you want to know more about the initiatives and what we mean by fully funding athletics, please do not hesitate to reach out to Brother Hakeem or to Brother Cisney or to Brother Jared Porter with regards to getting more information on how you can support those 3 entities. All right, now we'll move expeditiously into new business. Welcome by new chapters we've covered. We've already heard from our new Middle Tennessee chapter, so we will move right into Vice President McKennedy giving us these two updates, 2023 Convention Summit and nominating election committees of these three, and standard operating procedures, so we can kind of boom in one boat, if you can.
Great morning, everybody.
Yeah, we got a corner of it.
The convention and summit. The Summit Convention Committee has been meeting bi-weekly since March 7th for planning the 37th National Convention and Alumni Summit, which will be held in Memphis, Tennessee, July 20th through 23rd. The Memphis chapter, under the leadership of President Tommy Barrett, will serve as host, and the theme of this year's convention is the power of one. One goal, one team, one valley in motion. Convention registration is $275 for early bird registration, which will end on April 30th at 12 noon. There's $325 registration fee for regular registration, which will end May 31st, and a $375 late registration fee, which will end on July 25th. Conference events include a welcome reception, the leadership luncheon honoring the philanthropic contributions to the university of key individuals, which will be named in our, I'll leave that to President Redmond, let him choose that. The Coaches Corner will present, and the Legends Gala, which will honor outstanding athletes in the area of football, representing the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and I will also defer that to President Redmond to let him share that information with you. There will also be officer certification training specifically for financial officers. If you are a financial officer, it is very important that you are at this training so that you can receive the information from our national finance officer so that we can all be on one accord. There will also be the third quarter board meeting and the general body meeting during this time. We have secured the Hilton Hotel as the host hotel with 25 rooms at a discount nightly rate of $142,
Yes, ma'am.
of which there are about 13 left as of last Monday. The deadline to book a room is June 20th, and once all rooms have been booked, the discounted rate will end. Registration can be completed online by going to the MVSUNAA homepage and clicking on the convention banner. This report is submitted for information only.
Okay, I didn't get what you call. Hold on, but just talk to
All
her.
right.
Let me try to find the email she sent while you talking.
Okay.
And
the
leave
next, I'm not sure if it's nominating committee, convention and bylaws, I'm sorry, constitution and bylaws, but I'll just take a shot of it. Convention and bylaws. The Constitution and Bylaws Committee met bi-weekly for the months of October through December under the leadership and guidance of NAA parliamentarian Emmett McKnight to review and offer revisions to the current, which is the 2016 Constitution and Bylaws. The document was revised to include edits for spelling, grammar, and redundancy, as well as to amend specific articles to reflect current operational practices and organizational updates. The initial draft of the document has been completed in preparation for a series of 3 readings for final updates before presentation to the general body at the third quarterly meeting during the Summit and Leadership Convention. A PDF copy of the draft will be disseminated to all chapter presidents for chapter review, along with an outline and template for correction submissions. The dates for correction submissions and reading reviews are May 15th, May 29th, and June 12th. A link for a virtual meeting will be sent in case there are questions that need to be discussed. The Constitution and bylaws will be voted on during the fourth quarterly meeting, and the committee recognizes the diligent efforts of parliamentarian McKnight and committee member Joseph George in the work to complete this task. This report is also submitted for information only.
So I do have it up. So Cam's PowerPoint.
Okay.
That's the election.
The nominating committee. The nominating committee met and developed this information, this slide to share with you regarding, I need to look at it here. the election process. The eligibility for National Alumni Association officers are as such. If you are an active member, you must have been associated with the chapter and not an associate or honorary member of the National Alumni Association. All requirements for active membership must be met, and that's according to the current Constitution and bylaws. If you are nominated and you accept the nomination, please understand that you must first be nominated, and you can self-nominate. And accept the nomination either in person or by letter of intent at the quarterly meeting of the National Alumni Association, which will be the third quarterly meeting in July. And if you submit, once you submit your candidate information, there is a deadline to do that, and I do believe that that deadline is May 30th. I think that's the deadline she gave me.
Yes.
The candidate for office must submit the name, address, telephone numbers, years attending MVSU and or graduation date, or it should be graduation date, and qualifications for the office being sought, and a recent photograph. Each candidate must accept the nomination by submitting the required information. They need to be present at the summer convention to make an appeal to voters at that time. And following that summer convention, they will, election committee will review the ballots and prepare them to provide information to the voters and to make a choice among the candidates. Ballots will be coded and mailed to all eligible voters at least 60 days prior to homecoming, meeting with the instructions to return them to the election committee by October 1. And please understand that this process is in place because we are operating under our current Constitution and bylaws, which have no verbiage in it for electronic voting. But we are seeking to move to an electronic voting process. President Redmond has advised us that for those who absolutely request a ballot, we will send a ballot, but because of financial costs that we do not want to incur, we want to try to move as swiftly to electronic voting as possible. And there will be some training for that during the convention so that you can designate at least one member of your chapter that can assist those who are not technologically savvy with voting by electronic ballot. Once the ballots have been collected and kept sealed, and they will be counted, and the candidates with the highest number of votes will be declared the winner, and that should be during the fourth quarter meeting. But because the Constitution and bylaws say homecoming, that is what we say. Those are some changes that we are looking to address in the Constitution, because the fourth quarter meeting may not necessarily fall with homecoming. This report is also submitted for information only. In addition to the information regarding voting, the chapter of the year and alum of the year will be determined this year using a point system in the following categories: service to the school, scholarship and financial giving, recruitment and membership, and service to the community through our program targets of education, healthcare, and economic empowerment. Submissions will be made digitally, and deadlines will be recommended in time to ensure presentation during the fourth quarterly meeting. In preparation to make your chapter that chapter, or for you to be that alum, know that the more you do, the more points you can receive. Moreover, members of chapters should not have received sanctions for failure to operate as outlined in the current adoption of the Constitution and bylaws. In other words, you have not had a visit or a phone call from Ms. Carolyn. The committee will meet during the first week of May to solidify the point system and the deadlines to disseminate to all chapter presidents. And finally, the executive officers and nominating committee chair met on March 29th to discuss several documents and the need for standard operating procedures to ensure consistency uniform procedures, and clear expectations. A standard operating procedure or manual will also assist in eliminating uncertainty when conducting chapter business and decrease opportunities for misconceptions, thus improving overall chapter outcomes. The committee will continue to meet in preparation for developing this manual, and we will assist, or we will invite other chapters to assist us with this process, because we want to ensure that we are providing a fair and solid document that all chapters can follow. Again, this was submitted for information only.
Very good. Thank you very much. Yes.
Want to clarify something concerning the election and the homecoming meeting. The intent of that was because over all the years, our fourth quarter meeting was always held at homecoming. The intent never was for homecoming, is the homecoming meeting. So whenever the fourth quarter meeting takes place, that's what passed the election, not homecoming.
Right.
It's the homecoming meeting. Just want to make sure
Everybody was clear.
never ever had fourth quarter without homecoming. So it's not tied to when homecoming, it's tied to when the meeting, which is the fourth quarter meeting. I just want to make sure we clear on that.
Yep,
Okay.
we're good. All right, that was it. Well, all of this information will be shared with your chapter presidents and made available to members. Now we'll have homecoming committee overview and update by Ms. Jacqueline Carson. You good?
Good morning, everyone. I am Jackie Carson from Canton, Madison. So as we know, last homecoming, we had a jazz brunch. The feedback that we received was very warm. It was very supportive. And so this year, we're going to be actually doing the same thing. Canton, Madison, as well as Dallas Fort Worth, we're serving as the co-chair. And so we wanted to kind of start you help you to understand some of the things that we're trying to do. The first thing is that we are actually renaming the event. It's not a jazz brunch, but it's a soulful brunch. And we call it soulful because what we're planning to do is actually incorporate many of our students on campus, some that may bring to us some music from various genres. We're looking to have some jazz, some traditional jazz. We want to have some contemporary jazz. We want to have a little neo soul, and possibly even some country and western, if that's what we think that would be appropriate. We want to include and be very inclusive. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, and this is always a question, in the past, I know the fees that were asked or the donations that were asked were for $1,000. This year, we are still going with $1,500, which will still give each alumni chapter, 10 seats. However, we're going to ask our chapters, especially our larger chapters, if you can actually afford to maybe sponsor more than one table. We're looking for that, because our ultimate goal is to actually try and see if we can reach a total of $50,000 that we know that we can give back to the school. And in order to do that, we've got to do a few things differently. So I don't want you all to think that this, just because we're serving as co-chairs, that this is our committee. I am in need, our chapter is in need, or our committee is in need of a representative from each chapter that will be able to serve in various areas. So some of those areas will look like this. We need someone to help us with entertainment. We need someone to help us with decor. We need someone to help us with marketing, public relations, decorations. There's various committees that we need assistance with. So I am asking that will each president send me at least one name, and I say one name, it can be two, so of the individual that will be representing your chapter, because we want to hear some of the things that you would like to see happen. Some of those things may be able to be incorporated this coming year, but some may not. But at least we got something to start working with. So understand, we need you. We can't do this alone, but we want you to have just as good time as you had last year. And then I think, that'll be part of the team. So if anybody needs my email address, I would hope that when the minutes go out, You will have my email address, and I'm asking if possible, if you can send me that as soon as possible, because our committee will be meeting on this coming Tuesday. And the more people that we can have on that call, we can start our process of moving things forward. So are there any questions at this time for me?
Same with Ms. Carson.
Soulful brunch.
So it's gonna be on that Friday.
It's that Friday, right now, we're thinking it'll probably be between the hours of 11 to 1, which is what we did last year. Last year it was in the new gym. So we're still working out some of those details, but there's some things that I think we can probably learn from you who may have attended the green and white when they used to have a green and white luncheon. Some things that work, if you feel like work, but we want it to be very inclusive going forward. Any other questions? So $1,500. Oh, my email address is J as in Jackie, V as in Victory, Carson, CARSON @Comcast.net. My telephone number is area code 630-661-6056. 630-661-6056. So we're looking forward to a wonderful event, but it won't be as wonderful if we don't have your participation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Jackie, Dr. Olivia Rain, and Dr. Rita Gordon are all serving in a capacity as coordinators of homecoming, in addition to Della Weddington. Della's working with the Royal Court. Dr. Rain is working with the university's homecoming committee, and Dr. Rita Gordon and Jacqueline Carson are representing the alumni homecoming efforts. We're working this committee so that we have ample enough resources to plan, make you all aware, fully pull our schedule together so everybody knows well enough in advance what all is being planned for homecoming. If you are willing to serve as at-large members, there may not be a charge. If you're willing to serve, please reach out to Jacqueline and the homecoming committee to serve and support. We will have a schedule once they convene of all of the activities that we're planning that will start on Thursday and go all the way through this year to Sunday. We are planning events Thursday through Sunday for alumni, and campus activities typically start on Sunday of homecoming week and go all the way through until Saturday. Those are our plans, and the homecoming committee will be following back up where you are with that. We've covered old business, constitution and bylaws. VP McKinnis has given us an overview of those particulars. I'm going to mention the digital membership cards that we were approved to do last year. Because of our data challenges, the company that we have, Cosium, that is preparing our digital membership cards, we have to submit to them a comprehensive spreadsheet of all of the chapters members, all of our life members, and all of our at-large members. So because of our data challenges and because of everyone not necessarily paying their national dues online through the membership portal, we are having to do this in phases. We were thinking that we could do it all in one whop, but we're having to do it in phases. It is our intention and the memberships committee's intention to have all of these memberships in the system before our national convention. Once you're in the system, once you have your digital card, it will be emailed to you, or it'll come to you electronically in a text message or through your phone. Then you will be able to store your digital membership card in your Google Wallet or your Apple Wallet on your phone. And that will allow you to now receive notifications and know when it's time to renew. And anytime you need to show your card, it'll be readily available to you. For those members of chapters that still want your tangible card, we still have those. You can acquire those from your chapter presidents, and chapter presidents that are physically here today. If you need blank membership cards, I have them here for you to take back to issue to your members, those that need tangible cards, before we get the digital cards distributed. That is our digital membership cards, which will really help us and cut down on the expense of having to print, mail, and distribute digital cards every year. Tangible cards every year. All right, the hour has been well spent. We're grateful to let you know that the Alumni Association is here. We've got a lot of work ahead of us. We appreciate your giving us your Saturday today to get updated on all the particulars that we have. Please go to our website on a daily, weekly basis, MVSUNAA.org, so that you can receive constant updates. Our calendar of events calendar is completely solid. All of the information from our convention about the convention, all of our upcoming events, the meeting materials, all of that will be available through our website. You will always be able to click those banners to get direction to where information is. So that main rotating carousel of banners is where you'll get a lot of information. And for those of you that do have your login for the alumni website, you will be able to go into your members area and member resources to get access to all of your documents. Thank you all so much. We will now have a closing prayer. Is Russell still on the line? Oh, I'm sorry.
And last night was recorded.
Mhm.
But there we go. We need to come back,
Mhm.
go back and hear, make sure we get that out.
So, and I'm glad you said that, Carol, not to cut you off, but you're on point. We also have a YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with YouTube, get your grandbabies or get somebody to show you how to go to YouTube. You can type in MVSUNAA and all of the things that we have recorded. They are there on our channel for you to be able to see. We place the workshops that we've done online, anything that we record with the exception of your chapter meetings when you used our platform. But these recordings will be directed to our YouTube channel for you to view from your phone, from your computer. Even if you have the apps on your TV, you can have your YouTube app on your TV and you can sit and watch those particular recordings on your TV. So most definitely, we are embracing this technology. Our Technology and Innovation Committee has not been fully functioning, but we're hoping that as we continue to make strides, that we don't lose anybody and that we try to maximize this technology. If you're under the sound of my voice online, if you are a member of a chapter and you can be a resource to things flowing better and one person not having to do 6 different things, please volunteer your time and resources to help us as we try to pull. This leadership team is open to anyone willing to help. So don't think that we have it all together. I got a straight look on my face, but we done had technical challenges all morning, but you can't tell. Hey, we're gonna keep going. But nonetheless, we're grateful for you all that took the time to attend. And if Russell is still on the line, is Russell, he's not online? No problem. I can take us out with our prayer and then we will call for an adjournment. In the words of our chaplain, let's still our hearts. Gracious and eternal Father God, Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for the information that has been shared and disseminated. We thank you for the hours that have been spent here, getting us an understanding of what the National Alumni Association is doing for Mississippi Valley State University. God, we thank you for each chapter represented. God, we thank you for the chapters that were not represented. God, we ask that you put in their heart a tenacity to serve, to reconnect. God, to come to the National Alumni Association for any support and help that they need to revigorate their chapters. Lord, we are no stronger than our chapters as an association. So we ask right now, God, we stand before you. We petition your throne of grace and mercy, asking that you go into the hearts, the deep chambers, the wallets and pocketbooks of our alumni, Lord, and ask them to support Mississippi Valley State University's National Alumni Association. God, we ask for active membership. We're grateful for the 1,300 active members that we have, Lord, but you gave us the vision of 5,000 active members. And Lord, we ask for the capacity. We ask that you allow our gift to make room to receive all of these members. Lord, we raise for $1 million. God, we ask that you give us the capacity to manage those millions of dollars, that you give us the teams, Lord, the resources, the individuals to sow their time, talents, and efforts into our initiatives so that we can continue to match what the state is giving to our institution, Lord, that we be a fraction, that we can do 10% of what the state does from the Alumni Association's perspective. God, we know that 10th is sacred. And God, we ask that you allow us to be great stewards of your word as we continue to do the work you have anointed us to do. So we are going to get it done because you've anointed us to do it, God. And I ask that you touch me and this leadership team, all of our officers, all of our chapter presidents, our board of directors, the trustees, the universities, faculty, staff, students, and all of the alumni that saturate this earth. God, we thank you. We call it all done. We give you praise and glory and honor in your darling son, Jesus' name. Amen. All right, now we will call for a motion to adjourn. It has been moved and properly second that we adjourn this second quarter general body meeting on behalf of the MVSU National Alumni Association. Are there any questions, any unreadiness? Can I have a positive sign of aye? Any opposed? All ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Here's one.
Let's not forget, there was this alumni family from Mississippi State. They gave Mississippi State $100 million.
We finna do it.
If y'all know anybody.
Oh, I'm sorry, you all.
It's back to Marvin, let her scan.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that.
Sunflower too, okay.
That's perfect. Hey, you all, I'm sorry. There's one last thing that I needed to, I think we're still, one last thing, Ms. Golden, hold on 1 second, y'all. I was remiss in sharing with you all that we have lost a former national president, Ms. Dolores Odom. She passed earlier this week in Las Vegas, Nevada. Her services are going to be next Saturday in Cleveland, Mississippi. The details are going to be distributed through email and through the Alumni Association as we work on this. Dolores, as you know, was a longstanding president of the Bolivar County chapter and a former national president. But one thing that I want you all to take away from this solemn moment, if you are planning to attend her funeral, you will not get in if you come dressed up in a suit, shirt and tie, or your semi-formal church wear. You will only be able to attend her service if you come in wearing Mississippi Valley State University paraphernalia or Eastside High School paraphernalia. If you come in dressed up like a regular church deacon, you're gonna get escorted to the back of the church, from what I was told. She means for this to be a celebration. She's having a DJ and a barbecue picnic for the repast. She is meaning for her to be celebrated. So you can come up in Dolores' services crying and moaning and talking and looking like you had been another service. You're not gonna be able to get in. So let's celebrate Dolores Odom for her commitment to Mississippi Valley. It's at 12 noon at St. Paul. I don't know. We'll check. I'll let you all know. I'll check it. I'll most definitely check to see. Yep. But that's it. 12 noon in St. Paul in Cleveland. Ooh, I thought it was gonna be at 11. Let me stop sharing.